Today is March 7th, 2025. My name is Jason Higgins. I'm in Blacksburg, Virginia, at the Virginia Tech University Libraries. Joining me today for an oral history interview is...
Melissa Sias.
Melissa, do I have your consent to record this interview?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And just to let you know part of the process, we can pause or stop at any time. We can take breaks. You can end the interview entirely.
I'm out.
I'll try to avoid that, though.
Okay. Let's try not to take that route.
You don't have to answer any questions that you don't want to answer.
Okay.
You'll have an opportunity to review this recording. If you want any changes made to it, we can accommodate that.
Okay.
I usually ask this in every interview I do, but especially for veterans. Do you have access to counseling services if you needed it? Okay.
Finally, yes.
I'm sure there's
years and years of problems. Yes, we finally have a therapist.
I was going to say, I'm sure that there's a story behind that.
Yep.
So the first part is very brief biographical questions, and you can feel free to, go into additional details if you like.
Okay.
What were the dates of your military service?
January 99 to January 03.
What branch did you serve in?
I was in the Marine Corps.
Marine Corps.
And I was a 3531 motor transport operator.
Okay.
So I drove really big trucks. Humvees, 5 tons, 5,000 gallon refuel ambulance, refuel truckers, like to refuel helos and aircraft.
Okay. This is your favorite question.
My favorite question. Did I deploy to a war zone? No. And I did not serve in combat.
Okay.
But when I was stationed at my last duty station in 29 Palms, we would get the troops who were getting ready to go to Iraq and Afghanistan, and we'd be training them on the expeditionary airfield, showing them how to set up fuel cells, how to refuel the flight line, how to properly operate the trucks and the trailers. So
you were preparing other people ready to go to war.
Yep. And the only reason I think I didn't go is because I was pregnant when 9/11 happened, and my daughter was born that December. And me and my husband at the time were actually in the same unit. So I don't think they wanted to deploy both of us at the same time. But they had told me, you're going to shit your kid out and you're going overseas, so get ready, and gave me 3 months to be back into regs. So, yeah, it was fun.
So no one else would pay attention to these details except for me, but the pin, whenever you click it, it'll be very loud.
Sorry. I'll set that down. You better take it because it's a nervous reaction.
I do it too.
Like shit.
But I thought I would let you know now rather than an hour and a half.
Good, look it out.
And sit there like
I have to delete half of it.
Do you have access to VA care?
Yes. I am a 100% service-connected disabled Marine Corps veteran.
Thank you.
So mentally and physically combined, I'm 100%.
Okay.
So that's where I get all my care, whether I like it or not.
That's another question. Actually, so before we get to that, the focus of this particular project has been about policy changes that affect the experiences of women in the U.S. military.
Okay.
You've seen the timeline of major policy changes. Were there any that you care to speak to that are relevant to your personal experience?
There's women in combat now. That never used to be a thing. There's women pilots, which I wanted to do, but found out I was pregnant and didn't go to OCS. I decided to have my baby. But yeah, I had wanted to fly really bad when I was on active duty. I wanted to go to officer candidate school, take that route, finish college, and go become a pilot. They would not let it. They were not having it.
Because you're a mother?
Because I was a mom and a female. They did not want me in the cockpit. That's not where we belonged. I was lucky to be driving trucks. I should have been behind an office desk training people and filing paperwork, which was an additional duty I got because I was the only one. I was the only female in a motor pool of 60, 70 people maybe. And apparently the only one who knew how to use a computer and file properly. So I became the training NCO, the office pogue, they call them, for people who do all the office work, in addition to your normal responsibilities.
Where were
So
you stationed?
I started at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, went to Iwakuni, Japan, and then 29 Palms, California.
Okay. So at this point,
Has significant impact on your military. So you asked about so the women in combat, the accommodations for females, acceptance has definitely changed. Like she was just saying upstairs that there's a 12-month time frame now after you have for maternity leave. You didn't get that. So that's definitely different. I can't think of anything else offhand right now.
Did you meet your husband?
I did.
In the Marines?
I did. We were both Marines. We were stationed in North Carolina, and we were detached from our units and put together for CAX, which is a combined arms exercise. So we would leave North Carolina, go to the desert in California to train for going overseas. And it's where you bring all these different units together and you work together cohesively to accomplish your mission. That's where we met. I was an ambulance driver at the time, and he was with headquarters, I think, and he was like with the main office. So he was with logistics, and I would have to drive him around. And that's how we met. And one thing led to another. We actually got orders to the very same unit in Iwakuni, Japan. So he left, and then 3 or 4 months later, I left with the same orders, and we just stayed together. Then we wound up getting pregnant, and the rest is history. I have 2 kids now.
Are you still married?
No, I'm divorced. Yeah, has a lot to do with the PTSD, substance abuse, drinking, not being aware of what was going on with my body and my mind. And looking back now, I can't say I could have prevented it, but I definitely see where the problems were.
I understand. So before we kind of get into that particular experience for you, I like to try to get to know people. Where are you from?
I was born in Amsterdam, New York on Christmas Day, 1979.
Okay. Did anyone else in your family serve in the military?
I had one grandpa in the Navy and one grandpa in the Army. One was in World War II, one was in Korea. I had an uncle in the Navy. I'm the only Marine, and my sister was in the Air Force. I always joke and call her wingnut. Sorry. She was in the Air Force. She went to Iraq and Afghanistan, though. Yeah.
Did that family history have an influence on you? And your decisions?
Big time. And I was a domestic violence victim in high school. I was in a very abusive relationship, and I was really lost. I started a semester of college after high school, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I studied criminal justice. I wanted to be a cop, but like, I have a bunch of family that's cops. Wanted to be a cop. Started studying it. Just didn't sit with me. Like, I don't know. I wanted something more. I wanted to get the hell out of upstate New York and done with the cornfields. I wanted to see the world. Being from a poor family on welfare, you don't have money for college.
Right.
You don't get given opportunities. So I went out and made my own. I joined the Marine Corps because I liked the blues the best and didn't do any research on the branches. But yeah, that's where the trouble began, was with my recruiter. He was the first assault that I ever experienced.
During your enlistment?
My recruiter. My very recruiter. He was after he assaulted me. I was supposed to leave in June of 99, but I left in January because I wanted to get the hell out. I just wanted to get away. And I didn't know how to handle what had just happened to me. He drugged me. I woke up the next day. I was in a place I didn't know where I was, completely naked, and didn't know how I got there.
Wow.
It took a long time to process that. Like, I didn't, obviously, at the time. I just kind of just ignored it, moved on. I don't know. I didn't know how to handle it. I was 18, turned 19.
Who does know how to handle that? You know, that's a betrayal in the very first moment.
Like somebody who's supposed to have your back in a good way.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he also did it to several other women, which is why I have my service connection now, because it was all documented. And to be honest with you, I don't know whatever happened to him. I kind of wonder if there would be some closure in finding out if he did get kicked out or if he got penalized for it. But if he didn't, I don't know if that would warp me more mentally. So I kind of just left it alone. But yeah, he did it to several other women. And that's why I got my rating, because it was all documented. Unfortunately, like 99% of them women up there had to literally fight for 15, 20 years to get their MST claims approved. I was blessed to have documentation. I'm not going to say lucky because it's not a good word, but the positive of that situation was it was all documented. Not that they didn't make you relive it when you had to document it, like file for your claim. Like they literally made you go through every little detail. Oh yeah, you were getting to that. I'm going ahead.
That's okay.
Let's go back.
So, did you report it at the time?
I didn't. I was so scared. I felt I was embarrassed. Like, dude, that has happened to me? Like, no way. I was a good girl. Ran track, played soccer, did all my sports, chorus, band, total dork in high school. I was concentrating on my studies, was always good, followed the rules, did what I was told, kept my mouth shut. And I did not know what to do when that happened.
Where did you do your boot camp?
Parris Island, South Carolina.
What time of the year was it?
January, but in South Carolina, it wasn't. I don't remember it being that bad. I remember the sand fleas being horrible. And I remember like a hurricane at one point, like we had to go bunker down for. But a lot of that is like repressed.
Yeah.
It comes back in bits and pieces, like if I'm watching a movie or if I'm having a conversation about something, it'll trigger something. But I think I was so fucking scared, just initial shock through the whole thing. It was insane. Definitely an experience to remember, but also forget.
Do you remember the bus, getting off the bus? Like, what was
I remember
that like?
flying down and then getting on a bus to go to the island, and everything was peaceful and it was nighttime. It was quiet. And actually, a buddy that I lived next to joined, and he went in at the same time. Like, we left the same date. But because women and men are separated in the Marine Corps, we would train on opposite sides of the base and didn't see each other until we graduated. And then we're like, holy shit, we completed it. But yeah, it was quite traumatizing stepping off that bus to those yellow footprints.
Did you have women instructors?
Oh yeah, 5 crazy broads. Relentless, determined, very focused, and very good at making a point. I learned very quick that even though you're a track star, you don't try to show up your drill instructor. First day, I ended up on the quarterdeck. Yeah, it was a learning. It was literally a mind fuck, pardon my language, but it was a lot of adjusting.
You don't have to apologize for your
Okay,
language.
definite mind fuck.
Yeah. What did it take to complete boot camp? Like, what was that like for you?
Oh my God.
I know that's a big question.
That's a loaded question. Strength, physically, like, I'd been conditioning for a long time because, like, from 8th grade on, I was always involved in sports, one or the other, whether it be indoor, outdoor track, soccer, swimming. Then it was band course. Like, I always like to stay active and busy, and I liked quality of work, so I thought that would transfer over well. But it wasn't just that. It was them constantly fucking with you and testing you and breaking you down to make you feel like the biggest piece of shit on the world to build you back up the way they wanted you to be. Because when they say duck now, ask questions later, it save your life. And you're not thinking about that. You're trying to prove a point at the time, So it was a huge learning experience. A lot of sucking it up and just doing what you're told and taking shit you didn't want to do.
Was there ever was there a single moment where, like, you went through the rite of passage, like you became a Marine?
Yep. The night we had to do a crucible, it's called, at the end for our boot camp to complete. And then we go across the parade deck and they present us with our EGA, or Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. The night before we did, I think it was like a 10 or 15 mile hump to complete the Crucible. My pack, which I had to guzzle a gallon of water to make weight to get in the Marine Corps. I was under, I couldn't make weight. So I got in there, and mind you, I'd come out of an abusive relationship. I was physically, immensely already warped, didn't know it, had problems with eating disorders, started putting on weight, had a problem, finally got that off, made it through, and the night before the march, I dropped a 90-pound pack on the bridge of my foot and broke my foot and had to hump the whole way with a broken foot, hairline fracture. Didn't even know it until after. I think I want to say it. I don't remember exactly if it held me a little bit and I graduated the following week or if I actually graduated on time. I don't remember. Some of it's a blur. It's crazy how that works.
Sleep deprivation.
Yeah, that and a lot of stress. But then again, there's certain things I remember clearly, like being bunked with the worst girl in the platoon because they wanted to test my patience and they wanted to see if I could help her out. This is somebody who flags the whole firing line with a loaded weapon after being told not to. Oh yeah, I had my work cut out for me.
Wow.
Oh my God. One experience that does stand out for me, my one drill instructor calls me up to the front of the line. Get up here. Yes, ma'am. Stand up there, your position of attention, you're scared shitless, you don't know what to do. She's like, spell Schenectady. And I like, lost my composure for a second. She's like, I have fucking moved. Spell Schenectady. I was like, Schenectady, ma'am. Get the fuck out of my face. What the hell was that all about? You know, I could not. Then my mom, she would send me cookies. This bitch would always steal my cookies and make me pay for it on the quarterdeck. And she had fun doing it. I was like, this must be just... Come to find out, the day we graduated boot camp, she walks up to my mom, shakes her hand, and says, thank you, I'm from upstate New York, and I haven't had fry-off for cookies since before I joined the Corps. She made my life a living hell over some stupid cookies because that's where she was from. I'll never forget it. Sergeant Williams, that woman, she was about 5 foot nothing and full of piss and vinegar. She scared the shit out of me. She was crazy.
How did Marines uplift one another?
You know, no matter how bad it got, no matter what you were going through, I don't care if you needed a gallon of milk, a ride to the store, money to pay a bill, you always had each other's backs. Always. That's why being assaulted really fucked with me mentally, because the camaraderie that we shared, I've never seen it anywhere else in my life. Ever. Never in the civilian world.
It sounds like you're not discussing the first one. From the recruiter? This is who you're referring to?
Yeah, he's a bad apple. And you know what I mean? Like, it's taking me years and years and many forms of therapy to finally be able to talk about this. Let me just put it that way. This happened in end of 98, beginning of 99. So how many years ago was that? Like 25? 26. Yeah. And it took me... I didn't even report it until I was out 10 years. So now I have the understanding that and then I also got assaulted in my training school, which landed me pregnant, which landed me at my first duty station getting an abortion. All alone, completely traumatized. Disgusting.
Where was that at?
Fort Leonard Wood, Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri. On an Army base. That's where I trained for motor T school.
That was your
drive.
That was your advanced training after boot camp.
Yeah, you go from boot camp to the field for a couple weeks, learning about different weapons, and then to your specialty school, and then to your first duty station.
Was this a commanding officer? Someone over?
I don't know who it was. I was knocked unconscious. Found me in the hotel room we were all hanging out with for the weekend. Somebody came back to the room to check on me and found me laying on the floor. Took me to the hospital. That was it. I don't remember much of it.
What kind of recourse is there for a situation like that?
They didn't know who did it. Back then, they didn't do DNA tests to see, okay, we can match it with somebody because they're all on active duty. I would think there'd be some kind of like way to compare. Maybe not. I don't know, but.
And you became pregnant afterwards?
I found out when I got to my first duty station. I was like, something wasn't right with my body. I think I'd stopped getting periods or I was experiencing cramping or something. But I went to go get a pregnancy test, and that's when I found out. And literally was mortified. I was 19, alone, by myself. Don't know anybody. I'm supposed to be here to do a job, and now I'm knocked up. Like, oh, great. I'm already trying to prove myself as the only woman in the room. Now I got this. No, we're not doing that. So against everything I was brought up as a Catholic, I went through abortion. My mom didn't talk to me for almost a year.
Your mom knew?
My mom. She's the only person I told. And she's like, you should have given it up for adoption. But how can you say that to somebody? Like these idiots now trying to regulate who can have an abortion or not. How do you know if that was incest or rape? You know? What if that was your mom, your daughter, your sister, your grandmother? Would you say that?
I wouldn't say that to any woman, but that's just me.
Matter of fact, I wrote a piece. I got into writing for therapy. I haven't written since high school, but I did a little piece about what happened to me.
Do you want to read it?
Sure. It's called You Can't Have It. The phone rings loudly across the bay of the motor pool, interrupting the usual conversations and clanking of tools. Without warning, a masculine voice cuts through the calm. Hey, shower shoe, get your ass up here. That's the officers yelling from the office. While she innocently, selflessly, and steadfastly defends, protects, and supports her country and fellow sisters and brothers in arms, she is completely unaware or prepared for the friendly fire about to rain down upon her when she answers the call. We are ready, willing, and able to void your entire enlistment. No desertion, no other than honorable or medically separated blemish on your record anywhere. We'll make it appear as if it never even happened. In an instant, stripping away dignity, rights, privileges, and freedoms which she coveted and held sacred. She thought, unfortunately, pal, that is impossible. How dare you propose some pitiful offer of a token of your sympathy for my pain and suffering? How dare you try to strip away my responsibility to the people, my respect earned, and my dignity and integrity? Because regardless of their opinions, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and half-ass attempts to cover up the truth, it all did happen, none of which can be taken away. Not the violation of a sworn oath, not the assault on a young mind, body, and soul, and certainly not their attempt at a half-ass character assassination. Rising like a phoenix from the ashes, she avenges all challenges, obstacles, and adversities that stood in her way. She single-handedly, painstakingly, and triumphantly overcame what was sent to destroy her. Despite all the disbelief, the overwhelming odds against her, and the excruciating physical and mental anguish she endured, she steadfastly maintained the highest level of integrity and esprit de corps. Through it all, one constant remains. Her title of Marine, it was never acquired, bought, or even gifted. Instead, it was earned. That being said, how does one respond to such a ridiculous gesture? Well, one keeps her uniform, her camaraderie, her family, her integrity, her pride, and her title, because that they can't take away. Without hesitation, she boldly states in her rhetorical reply, is that the same proposal you would offer your very own sister, mother, grandmother, daughter, or wife? Calmly, she replaces the phone in its cradle, turns and walks away. Head held high, chin up, shoulders back, as any good Marine would do.
Thank you for sharing that.
This is one of the pieces I just put together. It's coming out of a suicidal. I do a lot of adversity in the past few years. Homelessness, substance abuse, sobriety with alcohol. I've been wrongly charged and gone to court for things that I should have never been charged with. I was physically endangered, my health and welfare, by a judge who illegally forced me to perform acts. I was denied and repeatedly denied protection by the sheriff's department, state police, and town officials that were supposed to be there to protect me. And I can't get a lawyer to touch the case because they're all afraid of the judge who sits on the board. So here I have studied and supported and defended all these rights and these liberties and these protections that we're supposed to have as American citizens, and I can't even get my civil rights defended. It's disgusting.
It just sounds like layers of betrayal.
Over and over and over. I
Corps.
feel like I've been assaulted all over again. Why should I feel the shame, the embarrassment, the resentment. Like, it's not fair if people would just do their job and have some accountability and integrity. It'd be a crazy different world.
So going back to Fort Leonard Wood, did others find out about the
The only ones that knew were the people that we were sharing a room with, that because there was me and one of my friends and her friend and one of his friends. So there was 4 of us. We shared a room. And the only other 3 people that knew about it were those 3 that brought me to the hospital.
What about after the pregnancy?
I didn't tell anybody. I paid for it out of my own pocket. I went on my own time. I didn't tell my unit. I was completely scared. I was in a new duty station. I was supposed to be, setting or like fitting a profile or meeting certain expectations, and you're a shitbag if you don't. So I didn't want any. I already couldn't use my own bathroom because it was all males in the motor pool, so I'd have to go back to my barracks. I had to work 5 times as hard. My little legs, I'm 5'5". Most of the guys in the motor pool are about good 6 foot. So my little legs, trudging after them in their little one step. So I was always working twice as hard to make up for or prove myself. And I just didn't need that being thrown in my face too.
How did
you must have asked for it? That was my favorite.
Someone said that to you?
Mm-hmm. Well, you must have been acting provocatively. When I finally did get out at the motor pool that I was assaulted, I told one person, and that cat was out of the bag. And it was a month before the monitor, which is what they called the monitors who gives you your orders to go to your next duty station. The monitor just so happened to call the motor pool, and I answered the phone that day. I was like, "Hey, sir, what could you do about getting me to go to Japan?" He's like, "You want to go overseas?" I go, "Yeah, but not Okinawa. I want to go to Iwakuni. I want to go to mainland. I want to explore." He's like, "You'll have your orders in 14 days. I was like, "No, I won't. Don't lie. Have a good day, sir." And I thought he was messing with me. I literally had my orders in 14 days. So it was a blessing in disguise that I got to get away from a situation I didn't want to be in. I constantly feel like I was running from something. Like growing up poor, running to join the Marine Corps, running to get away from a recruiter who assaulted me, running to get away. It's like I'm 45, finding me and having some compassion for myself. Like, dude, you've endured a lot of shit. Like, it's okay to be not okay. It's a hard road. And then when you're categorized as 100% disabled, whereas I can't go get an education, I can't use benefits to get my GI Bill, I'm not allowed to go to college. I can't go get a job to make ends meet. But I also make too much by like $2,000 to get help from Department of Social Services, food stamps, any type of assistance. I'm fighting and have been denied for twice Social Security disability in the state of New York. And I now have an appeal in, and I have a meeting in front of the judge, actually next month, finally. But it's taken almost 2 years now. I've been denied twice. The second time they denied me, they didn't even wait till they got the function report paperwork or anything back. I am 100% service connected. That is supposed to put your application in the front of the line, and you're supposed to get accommodations for people who are physically and mentally disabled. There's no such thing. I have called almost every state agency, every resource that I could find, and nobody is out there to help. I get unknown numbers, wrong emails. No, sorry, we don't know what you're talking about. I feel lost. Like, where's the camaraderie? Where's the guidance? Where's the support? And it's not anybody else's fault that I signed the contract. I didn't ask for what happened to me, but I did sign the contract. You know what I mean? Like, I take accountability, but I signed a contract out of wanting money for college and to do something good for another human being, to learn something new, to be a part of something that's bigger than just me and my selfish, like, little circle. And I got out there and I got to learn a lot. And I did a lot for people that I don't even know to support, defend, and uphold the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Where is that for me? That's all. I just wonder where the reciprocation is.
So you were assaulted twice within that first year.
Mm-hmm.
How did you persist? How did you survive for the next 3?
Literally, I was just diagnosed with ADHD about 7 months ago. Apparently, I'm like on the spectrum. Apparently, I'm the only one who didn't know this. I have a very good talent for masking and putting things out of my mind that I don't need right now. I can literally cut a connection like it's nothing. I could not talk to you for the rest of my life and I would not give a shit. I don't know if it's a trauma response. I don't know if it's something that I've done to protect myself because I'm tired of being hurt. I don't know. But I must have just blocked it out. I blocked it out for a long time because I never even said anything. I had nightmares and flashbacks. My husband knew. Like, I had told him what happened because he was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I'd wake up screaming in the middle of the night, I'm fucking sweating. Oh, God, I've always had really bad nightmares. As far as I can remember. But I think it was after 10 years, when I got out, they gave me a 20% rating because I had my knee surgery before I went in. And then again, I re-injured it while I was in. So I had a second surgery. So it was service connected. They gave me a 20% rating. When I went to, I think it was in LA. And I went to ask something about my Virginia Beach. Hang on. It's my daughter. Can you pause it?
Yeah.
Okay. So where were we? Oh, I went to the LA VA and I wanted to find out about increasing my benefits or what I would have to do. And I, for the first time, had a female representative. And when she asked me, is there anything that happened to you that, you haven't talked about before or, shouldn't have, and I literally broke down. It triggered some repressed shit from when the assaults happened and having to have the abortion and being, I guess it all just came to the forefront. So then it was a document. I caught myself.
You did.
That's not usual. I had to go through every vivid detail that I could remember and be as specific as I possibly could to document everything that happened. Who did you tell? Do you have any witnesses? And thank God I told my mom and my dad. Well, my dad, he passed away a few years ago, but thank you. My dad actually threatened to kill him if he ever saw him again. He had stood out on the I remember him standing out on the porch with his shotgun. Where is that son of a bitch? He literally wanted to go find my recruiter and kill him. Which is like the only good thing my dad did for me my entire life. So, but yeah, it was insane. And then I finally, once I opened up to her, I can't remember how long it took after that, but then they ended up increasing my rating to 80%. But when they gave me the diagnosis for PTSD, I was in denial. I was like, you guys are full of shit. It's all in your head. It's not even a real fucking thing. What are you talking about? I'm fine. No, I wasn't fine. Because with the lack of care for the females in the military, especially back when I was in 99, like I had endometriosis and adenomyosis, which are problems pertaining to the female reproductive organs. And the only way to actually diagnose that is by surgery. They didn't want to do surgery because they just thought I was making things up to get attention. I mean, they couldn't figure out why I was passing out in formation, smacking my head off the pavement. Like my cramps and stuff would get so bad. I was so medically, I'd pass out. I remember in boot camp, I remember standing there and the next thing I know, I'm looking up, like, what the hell's going on? It was because I was in so much pain, my body just gave out. And they just kept pumping me full of what the hell is it? Depo-Provera to prevent my periods so I wouldn't have the symptoms so then I could just continue training. Like, it's not seen or heard of. We don't have to worry about it. And then I ended up having to have a hysterectomy at 29 because of damage inflicted and of the endometriosis and stuff. So I got lucky and blessed enough to have my 2 babies, but I can't have any more kids. And that was at 29 years old. That fucked me up big time. And it didn't hit right away. I don't think anything that happens to me traumatically, I don't think it registers ever right away. It always takes a while to set in because I'm noticing a pattern now that I'm talking about all this. Like, yeah,
And something like that, I would imagine it would be challenging, if not impossible, to get it connected to military service, right?
Oh, they literally don't even want to acknowledge that it's a thing. When you have females and males reporting sexual assaults, hazing, you're going to be part of the club. We got to, why do you got to be that just inappropriate and grotesque and violating? One of the first initiations for my motor pool was the guys would teabag anybody coming out because we would have to do PMs, preventive maintenance, on like the Humvees, the 5 tons and stuff that we were. So the crawlers that you like, they lay on the floor. They got the 4th, and you lay on them. You go under the truck. Well, when I pull myself back out, the guy tried to teabag me. I caught him just in time. I whacked him in the nuts with a wrench, but
deservedly,
he deserved it. But that was after like a couple months of not even be able to use my own bathroom. Then they sent me next door for vas deferens fluid with gloves on. Apparently that sperm, it's a sperm duct in a male reproductive organ. And I'm going to the next motor pool asking for sperm as a hazing. Like, they would literally make my life a living hell.
Wow.
And I would just suck it up. As they say, suck it up. Deal with it. What's sad is that it actually prepared me for life in the civilian world afterwards because there was still sexual harassment. There's still job discrimination. It gave me thicker skin. I will say that. Sadly.
Well, you said you liked this question, so what advice would you give specifically to young women who were thinking about joining the U.S. military? Hypervigilance.
Always have situational awareness. Always know your surroundings, and always have a buddy with you. Don't go anywhere alone. You can't truly trust anybody. There's so many. Like, who would have thought somebody would drug me? Oh, yeah, you can have a drink now. You signed the paperwork. You're technically in the service. Why not? I'll buy you a beer. Okay. I've always been the one to be naive, blissfully unaware. It's an endearing quality to have, but it's very annoying sometimes because as positive and upbeat and motivational I can be for others, I don't catch what people are doing to me, and I get taken advantage of really easily, and it hurts, and it's repetitive, and I wish I would have known more or been able to prevent some of it, but my daughter, I sat her ass down at a young age, and we had a discussion, and I let her know what happened to me, and she actually just had to report a coworker for sexual harassment 2 weeks ago. She's stationed at Naval Air Station Oceana, Virginia Beach. But yeah,
she's in the military.
She's a corpsman. You know what's funny? I used to drive corpsmen around in the Marine Corps. When I was a truck driver, I drove the ambulances for the corpsmen, and now my daughter's a corpsman. It's just weird how we paralleled like that.
How did you feel whenever she decided to enlist?
I was scared at first because my fear is if somebody hurting her, I'd fucking kill him. I would literally find the son of a bitch and kill him because nobody's going to hurt my baby. She's a very smart, headstrong, talented, very, very good girl. Good sense of direction. I guess they say the kids mimic their parents, then I did a good job. And so did my ex-husband. We really raised a couple of great fucking kids. They've got morals. They have respect. They know their manners. We did all right. Good couple human beings. But now my son wants to go in the Air Force and be a pilot. He's actually doing community college right now. He graduated last year. So he just told me about a week ago that he's like, yeah, I want to join the Air Force. I want to be a pilot. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are going to give me a goddamn heart attack. I'm never going to be able to sleep again. Constantly worrying about them. But my daughter's doing really good. I'm very proud of her. For somebody who's on her second year, she's already in E3, about to pick up E4. And I had an E4 after I got out at 4 years. I was in E4. I think I picked it up after my third year.
So as you transitioned into your civilian life, what was that like?
Really, it's still really difficult. I'm still having problems. Especially accessing benefits and stuff like that I worked for and I earned, like my Social Security disability, finding representatives, finding the support. It's just nobody, it's such a double-edged sword. You had the camaraderie, but I also got assaulted. But I really had the camaraderie. And it was really helpful when you needed somebody was always there. Because even though there was two bad apples, everybody else always had your back. You had the community. You had support. You had friends. You had a family no matter where you went. And you don't get that out here. Everybody's for themselves. And nobody shows compassion to anybody else. It's disgusting. First person that'll throw you under the bus, do it in a heartbeat if it advanced your career. Like I said, I was in the restaurant business, so I just triggered me. I got fired from my first management job because I stole from the company, because I was retaliating against the guy who was my fellow manager was sexually harassing me. Pinned me in an office. I was like, come on, baby, come on. Trying to grope me up, and I didn't know how to report it. So what did I do? I paid him back in another way, and I got fired for it. And then a couple of years later, after the military pumped me full of opiates for how many years because of my endometriosis and hysterectomy and all this other shit, I had an addiction and couldn't get rid of it. Alcohol, substances. This is what I mean by blissfully unaware. Somebody introduced heroin to me as crushed oxy, and I believed them. So then I had a heroin addiction, which I quit cold turkey because I didn't want it no more. I wasn't trying to be a drug addict. I was trying to self-medicate myself out of pain. I am so physically fucked up. Like, I have a string of herniated discs between my neck and my lower back. I just had a hip replacement a year and a half ago. My knee's been operated on twice. I have had 2 C-sections, hysterectomy, 2 rotator cuff surgeries, several endometriosis surgeries. I've lost count. I can't even keep up. And then the mental on top of it, because of the PTSD and all the flashbacks and the trouble sleeping and just adjusting. Like, I can't even leave my fucking house anymore without mentally preparing myself. Mm-hmm. Most people just go, oh, hey, whatever, I'm going to go to the fucking store. Not me. It takes me a good couple hours before. Walmart, I had a panic attack in there last week because I couldn't find my boyfriend. I walked in there with him and I couldn't find him. I literally turned beet red, started crying. I had to get the fuck out. It's like one day it's my body, one day it's my mind. One day it's my body, one day it's my mind. Or if I have one good day, I have 3 bad days. It's.
Was it the VA that was prescribing the opiates?
And then my civilian doctor after I got out. Yep, because you're in pain here, just take this. Because of the endometriosis. It was before I had my hysterectomy. Nobody wanted to surgically go in and take care of the problem. Just like I said, this was back in 99, 2000, 2001, 2003. Like, I had just gotten out in 2003. So I was up in San Francisco going to culinary school, and that's when I saw a doctor. And he prescribed them to me as well. So yeah, it was all before my hysterectomy, which was military and civilian related. Pumped me full of opiates. And then they just stopped cold turkey. And anybody who's been on opiates knows your body writhes in pain, and it takes weeks for your body to adjust to the chemicals that are, like not in there anymore. And it's, I don't know how to describe it, but.
Well, I've heard a lot of veterans say that they were given opioids, and then the VA had a policy change on prescribing opioids, so they just took them back.
They just take them away.
And then that kind of leads down that path to heroin because it's cheaper and easier to find.
It's easier to get, and it honestly cuts the pain. But then,
do you mind if I ask how long you've been sober?
I've been sober 6 years in July from drinking, and other substances 3 years.
Congratulations!
3 years this year. Thank you.
Yeah, I know that's a hard.
And it wasn't due to any doctor. It was sheer determination and willpower. Educating myself. No wonder I couldn't figure out what the fuck was wrong with my mind and my body, and why everything was failing me, and why I couldn't act normally in a normal setting and be this normal individual in society. Well, I never took the time to consider the TBIs and the drinking lead to blackouts. So hello, dumbass, you shouldn't be drinking. Like, it's taken years of therapy and education to like find alternative like healing.
Have you ever been incarcerated?
No, luckily, but that's part of my advocacy against police not doing their job and being abusive. I've dealt with for 2.5 years. We had, I just found out I was technically squatting because the person who I had a rental agreement with didn't technically own the house, which led to a bunch of bullshit. So the person I was renting a room from decided to also rent the other side of the house out, which brought the neighbors who killed my dog, stole my property, tons of stuff that I had collected through the military over the years. I filed report after report after report. And instead of them actually listening to me, saying I was a disabled veteran, I have PTSD, and I'm mentally and physically incapable of protecting myself, they were just assumed and stereotyped me as a drug addict instead of somebody who's on the spectrum, undiagnosed. And when I was sober and I was genuinely reporting thefts and abuse and my life being threatened at gunpoint, they did nothing. They literally ignored me, told me it wasn't their problem. So, like, go ahead and take care of yourself. You have to evict these people. They were drug users. I was blissfully unaware. I didn't know about this drug world when I moved up to where I moved. And unfortunately, I got manhandled. And it led to tickets because I was driving people who were apparently selling drugs. And they would put shit in my truck instead of leaving it in their pockets. So, of course, I'd get tickets for it. Now, thank God my public defender listened to me, and we literally just bought out the time, and they reduced everything because I went to the counseling. I went to these drug programs. I quit drinking. I was sober. I passed the piss test. And I genuinely was trying. I didn't know I had ADHD and what half the problems were. But if they would have fucking done their job, I wouldn't be in this situation.
It sounds like you've had a very hard life.
I ain't done yet. I still got a lot more to go through. A lot more fun to have. It's time to have fun now. There's got to be some sort of positive and motivational track left that I just am meant to be on, because I know there's others out there that are in a situation where I am or have been there, and they don't know what to do.
So I didn't tell you this before our interview, but for the past 8 years, I was working on a project that involves formerly incarcerated veterans, and it's the same pattern I hear all the time.
It's ridiculous. They don't want to get you the help. They just want to incarcerate you. And for these people to abuse their power and authority, I had a judge literally force me as a squatter, okay, because I just got evicted. I have the eviction papers. I'm technically a squatter, to the court. This judge in that same court made me clean up 3 years worth of trash that the tenants left. And In that process, I was stabbed by a hypodermic needle. I got hepatitis C from it because this judge was reckless and didn't do his job and wouldn't listen to reason and cut me off and forced me to do shit. Made me make all sorts of repairs, everything. So when I went to a lawyer about it, because it's a personal injury case, not one lawyer will look at the case because he sits on a board overseeing all of them and they're all afraid of retribution. So where's my civil rights? My rights reside peacefully in my own home and be protected by these police was trampled on, completely violated, ignored. Nothing was done. Nothing was done to protect me.
I'm curious how you got involved with this group, Uniting Us.
I met Penny, who was the one lady with the shorter silver hair.
Yeah.
She founded a group, Art for Vets. And when I was literally suicidal, like fighting these cops and this legal process and trying to profess my innocence, and they even illegally raided my home. Took me down 5 exits. Now, mind you, this is before I had my hip replacement. I was still walking with a cane. Took me down 5 exits after they illegally detained me, didn't charge me with anything, gave me an appearance ticket because I told them they obviously had no evidence. There was no... They listened to... Since I'm only going to go into this because you worked with incarcerated, so you'll understand where I'm coming from. The people who lived next door were the ones dealing the drugs. We lived in a duplex. So what did they do? They took the word of the drug dealer who said that we were what is it called? Crystal methamphetamine manufacturers. So they literally came through the house, busted all the doors, all the locks, took everybody out, didn't ask any questions. The warrant had handwritten altercations on it. It wasn't even legal. They didn't give it to me until 5 days after they did this, by the way. Drug me down 5 exits and then told me to walk home. They're not a taxi service. But then when I just had a domestic abuse incident with my boyfriend, they took him and brought him right back to the fucking house the same day after giving me a black eye. The same freaking sheriff's department. You won't protect a veteran begging for help, pleading for their life, but you'll bring an assault victim back to be more honest. Like, what the fuck is going on with accountability with the law enforcement? You swore the same oath I did. Where is your integrity? How are you protecting and serving? You're not. You're hiding behind a badge and you're abusing your power. You were the kid that got made fun of in gym class, and now you're taking it out on everybody else. That's not right. There needs to be accountability with our criminal justice system. And being a criminal justice major for 2.5 years, I know I was violated, and I can prove it. I just need somebody to stand up for my civil rights. But it's like every other little thing I've had to do on my own, and I'm losing hope in the system, and it's sad. I busted my ass to protect, serve, follow orders, do my job, be the best Marine I could be. Always took accountability, whether it was something I did or if I just took the rep for somebody else for, having my buddy's back. Where is that for me? That's what's frustrating.
Melissa, as we start to conclude this interview, I just want to give you space. Is there anything that you want to talk about that I haven't thought to ask, or something you wanted to go back to?
I like this question. Have you experienced difficulties getting access to the care through the VA? If so, services you backlogged or not provided, you either require support, physical or mental.
Could you?
The mental health has come a long way over the years. When I first signed out with my VA, I would cry when I had appointments. I literally went through about 10 to 15 therapists, misdiagnosing you, fucking around with medications. Let's try this. Let's don't try that. Let's do that. And that's why, half the self-medicating happened, because nobody would listen. Now, I finally have a therapist. I finally have medication to help the ADHD. I finally have therapy, whether it be equine, art, music, writing, acceptance, commitment therapy, all these different my groups that I go to Mondays and Wednesdays for substance and like they call dual diagnosis. The programs that they have in place now are monumentally better, and it's good to see, because for years the mental health thing wasn't taken very seriously, and it's really sad. If 22 people a day, veterans, are killing themselves, there's a freaking problem. Something needs to change. Something. I definitely wish there was more support, references, resources, guidance coming into the civilian world and trying to navigate things like benefits, housing, homelessness. Like, you know, from my experience, what I've dealt with, I've gotten numbers that aren't in service. Nobody responds to emails. I wish there was a chain of command. That's one thing I miss about the military. You always had the next step to go to. There doesn't seem to be like that, and I wish there was more resources for veterans. That's something I've learned over the past few years. There's not enough.
Well, your story is such a journey of survival, and I think there's strength in that, and there's value in that. What would you want people to learn from your experiences?
Just because I don't look disabled doesn't mean there isn't shit wrong with me. Like, but even though there's all that wrong with me, I'm still a strong motherfucker, and I will persevere. Don't tell me I can't do something, because I will make it my life's mission to prove you wrong. And I think that's why I've made it this far in life. I've always been told I was too this, not enough that, ignored, beaten on, abused. Like, it's really given me thick skin. And it's also given me the ability to have compassion and love for other people. You know what I mean? Like, I know how it feels to be treated like shit, so I don't do that to other people. And I genuinely make it a point, like, to let somebody know, like, hey, how are you? When I ask you that, I want a genuine answer, not like a passing in the hallway. I genuinely am asking you a question, like, how are you today? I think it is so important to do that. Like, and women empowerment. I'm a huge believer in women empowerment. We have got to have each other's backs. When 100% of every female veteran that I've met and interacted with is a military sexual trauma survivor, unacceptable. We're some hardcore bitches. We've been through a lot, and we've had to fight tooth and nail to get what we worked for and earned. Don't underestimate us.
Well, that seems like a really strong point to end on. So, Melissa, I want to thank you for this opportunity to learn about your story. I want to thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and for what I'm sure will become a lot of advocacy of other women veterans, especially.
Oh, yeah. We're not done yet. I'm on it. What is that movie, The Blues Brothers? You ever seen The Blues Brothers? We're on a mission from God. Jake and Owen on the roll. Just got to find my partner in crime, and we're gonna make moves.